some encouraging news came out Friday about the real estate industry. The sale of new homes was up 27% in March from a record low the year before. The sale of existing homes also up almost 7%. Well, here to talk about the market is Pat Lashinsky, Chief Executive of ZipRealty.com. Okay, let's take a look at this. What is going on?
Well, I think that one of the first things that you said is we're coming off lows from last year, and the market was at a really low point, and we're starting to see it. But we are seeing some real benefits to the tax incentives that have been put out, both from the federal government as well as California state, as well as we're starting to see consumers are starting to feel a little bit better about their situation. They're feeling a little bit better about their employment, and we're hearing that a lot of buyers think that the home prices are pretty close to being near the bottom.
Okay, so in other words, we're getting off the map, but we were flat out. Okay,
exactly.
So any kind of gain is going to be a good percentage gain. How does that actually translate into dollars and cents, especially if you're a seller today?
Well, what we're seeing now is that depending on what zip code you live in, it really does vary. But in some zip codes, such as in Emeryville and some places in Oakland, we're actually seeing that sellers are able to put their homes up and they're getting multiple offers again, which is something we haven't seen in 18 months. And so if you price it right, we're seeing that the demand's there to drive the prices up.
I think we've got a graphic of some of the hottest zip code areas here in the Bay Area. And I understand that, let me see, one of the big ones is Oakland. Emeryville is one area, okay. Another one is the Oakland itself, the Oakland Hills, and the other is San Jose and East Valley. What, if anything, do these areas have in common?
The one thing that they all have in common is that they are attractive to first-time home buyers.
Why?
Because they've got home prices that are in a range where first-time home buyers are able to get in, they're able to afford these homes, they're in areas where people are able to get in, and the amount of down payment that's required isn't going to eliminate a lot of people.
Okay, what are some of the areas where you're not seeing this sort of spring back here in the Bay Area?
So Sonoma, for example, if you look at 95476 in Sonoma,
right,
we're not seeing it there. If you look at East Santa Cruz, if you look in Santa Cruz itself, Rossmore is another area where we're not seeing as much. And these are all areas, Rossmore, for example, isn't an area where first-time home buyers typically buy.
What about someplace like Lafayette, which has traditionally enjoyed very high values?
So Lafayette, the issue is more along that it's got a higher average price point.
Okay.
And so what we've seen is that it's a little bit harder to get credit there, and that's an area where you have to be you typically are a move-up buyer, which means you have to have sold your home first.
How is the market on sort of the new subdivisions that we saw spring up in the past 5 to 10 years in the Bay Area, especially in the outlying areas, Brentwood, Antioch, the places that were hit heavy with foreclosures?
Those areas are still struggling a little bit, but the good thing is that we are seeing them coming off the bottom. We're seeing that the prices have stabilized. We're starting to see those prices come up, but they're still not out of the woods. There's still a number of foreclosures that are taking place in those communities. There's still a number of homes that are sitting either vacant or foreclosed on, and we have to get those out before the market
Why do you
gets
think
better.
that is? I mean, they would seem like they would be an attractive price still. They would be the lower end of the market where you could get in. What is keeping people from buying out there? Is it location, too far from work? What?
That's exactly what it is. What we're seeing is part of the reason why Oakland's been so popular is that it's closer in, and it gives a lot more opportunities to be able to go into San Francisco or go down to the peninsula. And so most people are saying, if I can trade off between being out in Antioch or I can be into Oakland or the Montclair, I'd rather be closer in to be able to do it. The price points are good, but the location is different.
So there must be also sort of betting saying there's a limited amount of stock in, say, the Oakland in this side of the hills, so it might be a safer bet. How are mortgages playing into this, especially adjustable rate?
Well, what's happening right now is that adjustable rate mortgages are starting to go into a cycle where we're starting to see more of them being reset, which means that loans that were taken out 5 years ago on ARMs are having to reset right now, and those homeowners are having to pay more money as those loans are being adjusted. And as that's happening, we're seeing that those are creating more foreclosures and more distressed properties, more short sales, and that is, keeping the price points down for the overall market.
Okay, again, as far as where do you see it going from here?
I think that we're at a pretty good place where we're gonna bounce along the bottom for a little bit, but I would say between now and the next 6 months, we're gonna start to see some nice steady increases.
Oh, so good news for sellers, buyers, watch out, huh?
Exactly.
You're not going to be alone when you put that bid in, huh?
And that's what we're already seeing that.
Oh, God, those days were something. You go and you take one look. Honey, we've got 5 minutes to make a bid that's going to change our lives, huh?
I don't think it'll be that bad, but it's gonna move back a little bit.
All right, Pat, thanks for coming in this morning. We'll keep an eye on it because when it's hot, it tends to get hotter.